I'm Junior from the Board of Doom.
And I'm Big Papa Grump, and this is our WrestleMania 33 recap. Alright, so starting out with the opening match, which was for the Cruiserweight Championship, Neville versus Austin Aries.
Neville went over, which I dig. And there's a couple cool spots here and there, like there was a suicide dive he caught, and the eye rake from Neville to stop the last chancery. I liked that, and I really think that Neville deserved the moment since, you know, he was hurt and now he looks strong.
Yeah, from what I saw, which I didn't catch all the match because I was busy fighting with YouTube trying to upload the other two videos. It looked good. I liked the ending, which was about most of what I saw. Seemed like it was exciting, you know, but it's the Cruiserweights doing what the Cruiserweights do. So now it brings us up to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Mojo Rawley won. Gronk was there. Braun Strowman went out early. Big Show went out early. Sami Zayn didn't win. Mojo Rawley won. I really don't have anything else to say about it. So up next was the Intercontinental Championship match between Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin. You go.
I liked the ending. I think Ambrose deserved the WrestleMania moment. I'm pretty sure he's lost the last, 3 straight Manias. I don't think he had a singles win until then. The match was kind of slow at start, and then, you know, we've seen them wrestle. It seemed the exact same.
Yeah, there wasn't as much intensity.
Yeah.
I thought Corbin should have gone over just because I thought it served the greater story better, at least the one they were telling at the time. I think Ambrose is better chasing a title than with the title, proved by his kind of dull World Championship reign.
Now a dull Intercontinental reign.
Yeah, now it's a dull Intercontinental reign. Basically, the most notable thing he did was get squished by a forklift.
The fourth match on the card was AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. I personally wasn't looking forward to this match at all. I knew they were going to put on a show, but I thought Styles deserved more. I like how Styles went over. The Coast to Coast was awesome. I did not think that Shane could still do it. I should have known by what he's been doing. And Styles got the best out of Shane, so it worked.
Yeah, I thought the match was way better than anybody thought it was going to be. I thought that Shane looked, 50, but in shape 50. Styles didn't carry the match as much as a lot of people thought he was going to. Shane really held his own in the ring with Styles. Obviously, Styles had to go over, and I'm hoping that they bring about a face turn because I think he's better as a face than a heel, and they get past this stage of his character. But yeah, Coast to Coast was cool. Spots.
Spot match.
Yeah, it was a spot match.
But that's all you can really do.
Yeah, and it served its purpose, and it stole the show early on. We'll get to that. But yeah, it held the place of show stealer for a good chunk of the show until later on, and we'll get to the one that I thought was going to steal the show but didn't. Which brings us to Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho. That was the match that I thought was going to steal the show. That match was boring. Yeah. That match was dull. They were telling a story, but they told a kind of boring story. They didn't have the fire. There was nothing wrong. Nobody was botching moves or anything like that. It just didn't have the intensity I thought that those two were going to bring. And, obviously Owens had to go over because Jericho's leaving, and Owens needs to get back in now that he has U.S. title, he's not going to be in the world title picture right away, but you need to rebuild his credibility. And I like angry, bitter, punchy, kicky Owens as opposed to slimy, like Weasley, Seth Rollins Owens.
Yeah, he looks strong now. He basically and he didn't dominate the match, but he looked strong. He hit really good moves, and I like how, and you don't see this often. He hit the Papa Powerbomb outside onto the apron and threw him in, and actually got the 3. Most of the time, you see that they kick out. And I kind of like how it showed that his Papa Powerbomb's that devastating.
Plus, it was harking back to the when he injured Owen or injured Jericho with it earlier, and plus rehashing when he injured Zayn with it.
Right. Up next was the Raw Women's Championship, the Fatal 4-Way elimination match. It was a spot match, unfortunately. I thought they could have done more with it. I did not like how Jax went out as quick as she did. I did like the triple pin, though. That was pretty cool. But, yeah, Bayley went over. I thought Sasha should have. I really think now would have been a great time just to turn her heel like that. But I think they're going to slow play it, hopefully.
I think WWE's trolling a little bit, too, because the word leaked that was what was going out. Or at least the internet, the IWC was all over it early. I think they were told to hurry up because, Pitbull. But... And they saw that they were starting to run long, and I think they told them that they're going to have to rush a little bit, which is why Nia getting eliminated felt rushed, Sasha getting eliminated felt rushed, and the showdown between Charlotte and Bayley felt a little rushed. But I think Bayley holding on to the title was probably the right move if you weren't turning Banks heel.
Right.
So, and that gives Sasha or whoever, Bayley, whichever one she's going to feud with, it gives them time to build that up, depending on who they're going to put the belt on next. Which brings us to the Raw Tag Team Championship ladder match between the Club, Enzo and Cass, and Cesaro, and the Hardys. The Hardys came back. That's pretty much the only interesting thing that happened. I mean, it ended up being a good match. Ladder matches are by design, spot matches. Right. I was worried that it was going to be boring with those three teams in a ladder match. I mean, I love the Club. I'm a big fan of Cesaro, and his teaming with Sheamus has actually made me like Sheamus again. I will reserve my opinion of Enzo and Cass for another commentary.
Okay, Corey.
Yeah, Enzo bothers me. But when the Hardys came out, you knew it was going to be the Hardys. When the New Day came out, and it looked way too obvious that they were going to insert themselves into the match. And it's like, no, delete. The chant started, and you're like, oh God, I hope so. And then the music hit.
Unfortunately, they don't have the rights to the Broken, so they're just Team Extreme, which I like. And Jeff's nuts, because Jeff, he still does
39 years old,
and he's still jumping off of ladders onto other ladders.
Swanton off a ladder.
Freaking ridiculous.
And every time he climbs that super tall ladder, and he's balancing himself, I'm like, one of these times he's going to fall, and he's never fallen.
But I do like how
on TV.
they let the Hardys go over.
At least not while sober. Giving the belts to the Hardys was a nice swerve. Other than that, I mean, I was excited the Hardys were back. Even if they do half of the gimmick, it's still better than just Team Extreme, because that was a 90s thing, 90s and 2000s thing. So I didn't want to see them rehash nostalgia, because we saw what happened with the Dudleys. So now we get to the mixed tag match between John Cena and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maurice, which had the predictable ending, the predictable result, the predictable swerve at the end. Miz dominated the match. The crowd was so on fire for him, and then they basically just got bitched out at the end. It's like 2 moves, and then they got pinned. I really am disappointed in WWE's booking of The Miz the last few, the last few pay-per-views, because the Elimination Chamber, he hit one offensive move and got hit by one offensive move and got pinned. So I would think with the amount of attitude adjustments that he's taken over his career, he would know how to kick out of one. So, but yeah, I think the wrong person went over there. The Miz should have gone over. He needs it more. Cena and Nikki, and I understand it's harder to do the proposal angle following a loss. It's also harder to sympathize with this possibly being Nikki's last match, or her taking time off if they go out on a loss, unless you make it an injury loss, and I didn't see them having the Miz and Maurice injure both of them. So, but yeah, I think the Miz needed it more.
And there's nothing else to say.
Yeah, I basically took that one over because he was threatening to walk away.
The next match was Rollins versus Triple H. And I believe that Rollins had to go over, and he went over, which was awesome. I realized that Triple H has put over people back to back, which was really nice, because he used to bury people, but I don't know if that was necessarily him or Vince. And the fact that Rollins beat Triple H with a pedigree, which I kind of wanted him to solidify a new finisher, but the fact that he beat him with his own finisher was really cool. And the match in and of itself was good, and I really, really liked it.
As annoyed as I am with the with Seth doing the pedigree. And I missed the small package driver. Him beating him with the pedigree was kind of the only way you could end that. As far as the entrances go, with Triple H apparently having run out of Arnold movies to parody, he decided to come down in on a motorcycle with Steph on the back. It was neat. Seth coming down like an Olympic torchbearer was... I get the symbolism besides the whole passing of the torch and all that. But it just seemed kind of lame. And as was pointed out by several people on the internet, it was a no-holds-barred match. Why didn't he just go down and set Triple H on fire? You know, probably would have won him the match a lot quicker and saved a lot of pain on his knee.
He set the ramp on fire and the ring on fire, just not Triple H.
That brings us up to the most disappointing match of the evening, which was Bray Wyatt losing the championship to Randy Orton after only holding it for a month. We will not give Bray a win on pay-per-view. I don't understand it. He wins at Elimination Chamber. You think, okay, they're starting to turn a page on Bray. But no. We'll put Randy Orton, because that's what we need to see, is Randy Orton with the belt again, because that's compelling. Why go through all the rigmarole of having the movie projection bugs and stuff on there if you can't win with that? You basically wasted what was kind of a corny gimmick thing anyways, and he still loses. I don't even know speechless when it comes to what they're doing with Bray.
It was a good match. I do agree that Bray probably should have gone over, but I pointed this out at the pay-per-view, and I did prick Orton to go over because it just seemed like that's where they were going, and they do, and I know they usually start the 50-50 booking at WrestleMania, but they do like their 50-50 booking, and unfortunately, Bray did go over their last feud, and then Orton joined, and then in the slow play, so I don't see why he went over, but I kind of get it. I mean, I hope they go somewhere with it, because I like Orton. Orton's a really good competitor, but, Vince. Next is the Universal title, which was Lesnar versus Goldberg for the third encounter. We had 10 suplexes, 4 spears, a jackhammer, and an F5. Yeah, 4 moves, 5 minutes. Nothing much to say. Better than anticipated, but Lesnar won. Kind of predictable. I hope he doesn't just defend it twice, but who knows with his.
Yeah, I liked the match a little bit more than you did. I thought, that was the definition of a spot match right there. It was all signatures and finishers the entire match. It was still way more entertaining than it had any right to be. But you knew they were going to put the belt back on Lesnar. I don't think that's going to... If they get it off him in the short term, it's not going to hurt anything. But if we go through another... When he won the belt from Cena at SummerSlam and had 2 title defenses going into WrestleMania, I don't want to see that again, because you're not enhancing the championship if the champ only shows up twice, and then Paul Heyman comes out and talks about him. But other than that, it was a decent match. It was for what it was, 5 minutes. It wasn't the squash people thought it was going to be. So they managed to make Goldberg still look strong, and it just told the story that Lesnar figured out a way to outlast Goldberg, which, fun fact, The Undertaker's entrance was longer than the Goldberg-Lesnar match. Just tossing that out there.
Up next was the SmackDown Live women's match, the championship. I understand putting it back on Naomi. I would have rather seen Alexa Bliss and or Becky Lynch, who deserve a WrestleMania moment, get one. Not saying Naomi doesn't. I don't like the fact that Naomi is a 2-time women's champion over Becky, because I do think that Becky, and for that matter Alexa, have been the staples of that brand, but I like the fact that somebody finally won in their hometown, but
Yeah, it was nice to see somebody not named Dwayne win in their hometown on a pay-per-view, but or Punk for that matter. Yeah. I didn't mind it as much. I wanted Bliss to retain because I just think she's still the second best real heel on SmackDown behind The Miz. I don't count Styles as a real heel.
Too much cheers.
Yeah, the match was fine. It was okay. I didn't like the tap out thing, but it was, yeah, at least she didn't hit her in the face with her butt to get a pin, so that's kind of nice. You know, Naomi's really good in the ring. You know, she's getting better all the time. The rear view's like the dumbest move on the roster right now. I just hate it. That brings us to the main event. Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker. Everyone knew that Reigns was going over. It was the result was predictable. It was more or less, would The Undertaker be able to put on a good show after as injured as he's been? And would the crowd accept Reigns if he didn't turn heel? The answer is yes, he looked better than he had any right to at his age with his injuries. And no, crowd still hates Reigns. Because they did not turn Reigns heel. They didn't really, I mean, he had the kind, actually they almost played it up in a Shawn Michaels kind of, you know, I love you, I'm sorry sort of way, where he looked like he didn't want to put The Undertaker away. They played that up on the commentary a little bit. But in the end, people aren't going to remember the result so much. I mean, there's going to be hate for Reigns because he's the one that ended The Undertaker's career with a calisthenic spear, you know. But other than that, it was a still a good match. I thought they told a good story. And if you want to talk about the match some, because then we'll talk about the end.
I do like how Taker took 4 spears and a really weird hyper spear to do it. He went through the table. Like it was nice. The fact that they changed it to no holds barred, I think, helped, because if this was just a normal match, you would have just seen like 12 spears, 4 tombstones, and it wouldn't have been as good. Because this way you could put Undertaker through a table, and now you could play up that it's not old age; he's hurt, which obviously we all knew was old age. But you know,
yeah, he could hit him with chairs. He could put each other through tables and all that, so you could hide a lot of the deficiencies that The Undertaker has at this point. And then the moment everyone's going to remember this WrestleMania for is The Undertaker taking off his gloves, taking off his jacket, taking off his hat, laying him in the ring, and taking the slow walk up the ramp, halfway up the ramp, to and retiring. We think that it's pretty much sent a clear message. Broke character, gave Michelle McCool a kiss, went back in the ring at one point. That's when he put his stuff back on, and you knew then it's like, okay, this is at least The Undertaker saying he's done. Whether or not Vince will be able to lure him away again, or if Vince even wants to, we don't know, but it looks as if The Undertaker is done. I'm going to be doing a separate video on why I love The Undertaker here soon, because he was my favorite growing up. I wasn't quite as emotional because I think I was ready for it. I wasn't there, so I think that might have had something to do with it too. But it was nice. It was a nice send-off. You know, he went out on his own terms, because The Undertaker's old school. He's going out on his back. So.
No, that's it. I don't have anything for that part.
Okay. Well, there we go. That's been our recap of WrestleMania 33, and hopefully we'll see you soon. I've been Big Papa Grump.
And I've been Junior.
Like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.